We have a 1987 Toyota Supra. That's how it's listed on the title. It's actually an 86.5. It was built in April of 1986, but screw up with the title when they imported it. Listed it as an 87, so that's how it is being sold. 1987 Toyota Supra, 3-liter, straight 6, 5-speed, non-turbo. I have the whole car. It is a complete car, and over here we've got the original tailgate off of it with the window seal, with the seals. The window was broken out of it when I got the car, so I replaced it with this one for a little while. Now I've started to take the car apart because I was going to restore it, and now I've since decided that I would rather go ahead and sell it. It's been a fun toy to play with. It is what I would call a drivable project. There's nothing wrong with it, nothing major wrong with it. Mechanically, it is pretty good shape. As you can see, I started to take it apart. I was going to do some body work on it. As you can see, it has the complete engine. It's all there. The only thing about this engine, the only thing about the whole car mechanically, is that the steering pump went out, and I never got it replaced because I like driving with hard steering. And I did a head gasket on it about 2 years ago, and the top half has all been rebuilt. It runs good. Hoses are probably a little worn. As you can see, there's some oil kind of splashed up a little bit. That's because the bottom half still needs to be rebuilt. The pistons are in great shape. Piston walls are in good shape. The block's in great shape. Problem is that the rings are a little worn and they smoke, and the main seals are old and worn out, and it leaks oil out the front and the back of the motor, and then it kind of drips out a little bit and then sprays up into the compartment when it hits the belt and gets flung everywhere. So it goes through a little bit of oil, and it smokes a little bit because of the rings, but other than that, it runs great, and we're about to demonstrate that. 2 years ago, I did a head gasket on it. When I pulled the head off, we pulled the head apart, and we had the deck shaved and had new valve caps and valve seals put in. Had it rebuilt. I had it done at a speed shop. So everything from the head up is in really, really good shape. Like I've said before, the hoses are probably a little bit, they're original. So a lot of them may need to be replaced, little hose pieces or whatnot, but it runs really, really well. Alright, and here we go. We're going to go ahead and start her up. We're going to take her for a little spin around the block real quick, demonstrate her running. Unfortunately, I'm filming this with my phone, so and it's a stick shift, so I will have to put the phone down in order to drive it a little bit here. Here we go, start it up. The oil pressure gauge is not going to show anything because when I did the head gasket, I think we missed hooking that sensor back up. The brake light there is on because the tailgate's out of it, as you can see, and the third brake light isn't hooked up, and as a result that light is always on. Not a whole lot we can do about that either until everything is, either plugged up or turned on or whatever. Oh, that's the brake light there. That one there is the, what is that? Well, that's the emergency brake light, which is also always on for some reason, even though the emergency brake is not. I think it's also tied to the it's tied to the fact that I don't have any taillights hooked up right now. As you can see. So we'll just let it warm up for a second here. You can look in the mirror there, and look actually back there. You can see that it smokes a little bit. That's because the rings are needing to be replaced. Like I said, I redid the top half of this engine, but the bottom half still needs some work. Pistons are in great shape. The block is in amazing shape. Everything's in really good shape. I keep it well oiled. Problem is that the oil leaks out because of the rings, so it smokes, and the main seals on the crankshaft are starting to go, so it kind of leaks a little bit there. But I keep oil in it all the time, so you know it runs fine, runs really good. As you can see, the rest of the gauges are working fine. Temperature gauge engine hasn't heated up enough to show temperature yet, but it works fine. Fuel gauge, voltage is working. Alright, so in a minute I'm going to have this thing out and I'll resume this video and you'll see it driving. Okay, so we're now out on the street in this car. Put it in gear here. Try to do this one-handed, and as you can see, car runs fine, not making any weird noises, not squeaking. I'm trying to drive it one-handed. It's not easy, especially when you don't have power steering. Power steering pump went out on this thing, and I actually like driving it that way. Can't go too far because I don't have legal plates on this thing. And there we are back in the garage. A running, driving 1987 Toyota Supra. Dirty windshield. Like I said, I have the whole car is here. Obviously not hooked up at the moment, but like there's the tail lights. And I take everything apart. I mark them. You know, what bolt went where, what kind of bolt it is, all of that. When I take a car apart, I do it right. So I've got all the pieces, all the parts. The shocks for the front and back on the or the hood and the rear hatch are bad. They'll need to be replaced. Up here on my shelf here, we've got, this is the original car stereo. It still works. I pulled it out because I was going to try to find something newer to put in there. Here's another one that is newer that I got for free that I'll include with the car. In here we've got all the bolts and mounts and stuff for the radio. I still got all that. Here's all the stuff I pulled out of the interior of the car, the back end of it, everything but the passenger side door card, which is in my basement at the moment. There is the rear hatch that I put on the car temporarily so I could drive it because it's got good glass. It's not in the best shape. It's one off of a turbo model that had a wing, as you can see. But The original one's over here hanging up. It's missing the glass, but it's still in very good condition. Otherwise, excellent condition, as you can see. Even still has good wiper blade on it. And that is my 1987 Toyota Supra. It is for sale until Thanksgiving as a whole car. It is a running, driving Supra. It's what I would call a drivable project. I drove it to work and back a lot this year, just as a, sort of a daily driver. Just so you know the date and time, today is November 2nd, 2013, and I will be listing this car this weekend. It'll be on eBay, it'll be on Craigslist, with everything that I can think of to tell about this car that's good and bad. Let me get a little video real quick of like the underside and that, what's going on under here. As you can see, and it's got a funky exhaust because I put a funky exhaust on it. I actually like the way it turned out. Gas tank not rusted out. There's that water outlet piece underneath the tire tub there where water got out. But as you can see, otherwise, everything is in really, really good shape underneath here. And we'll go ahead and get underneath the front side of this thing real quick. See if we can. Let's see. As you can see, enough oil's dripped out on the front end to make it dirty, but at the same time protect all the parts, keep everything from rusting. There isn't any structural rust on this thing at all. That you get the little bit on the frame on the edges there. It's like surface rust, but as you can see, try to get that. There we go. This thing is pretty darn good. Not rusted out at all. Not a rusty car. It was garage maintained most of its life. I know the last few owners of the car, from the second owner to me, I know. I'm the fourth owner that I'm aware of. And there's a little dent right here where this was pushed in. It got hit by something. Can easily be popped back out, I think. I think some time with a ball peen hammer and a wood block, and you can actually pop that back out and make it pretty decent. Other than that, you can see the car's in really good shape. There is a little bit of rust right there where water got in here, but as you can see, it's pretty much surface rust. It's still solid. Still solid. We scraped and painted and fine. The only thing that actually got weakness into it was this right here. This got wet and water got in there and chewed it up, and so that will need to be fixed. I think that anybody with an arc welder, halfway decent little piece of sheet metal, you can fix that real quick. This is all surface stuff. That's not a rust spot, that's a piece of rubber that looks rusty. Same with that there. The water plug, under where the water plug is right here, is the only really part I would actually worry about, as you can see. Yeah, just a good solid car. very good starting point for anybody who wants to get into working on these things. It'll be for sale until Thanksgiving of this year, and then it's going to be sold for parts. If nobody buys it, it'll be $800, and I am not coming off that price. As the absolute minimum I can take, I've got probably $1,600 into this car. With the tires, I got good Kumo Astra ASTs on it. Those are the original wheels for the car. The side molding's bad on it. I just ripped it off. I had plans to do something else with the body. Didn't know what I was going to do yet, but yeah, $800 is the price. Period. I won't come down any. So if you want the car, buy it. If you don't, it'll get sold for parts. It'll, after Thanksgiving, car will go up for sale for parts only, and whatever parts I can take off of it, I will. And I will sell them. Body panels, I'm not afraid to cut this thing up. If somebody wants the roof, somebody wants the fenders, somebody wants the hood, whatever. It's all for sale. As a whole car till Thanksgiving, and then for parts after that. If you want the whole car after it goes on sale for parts, you'll have to buy it for the price of the parts, which will be a lot more than the $800 I'm asking for it. So, a lot of good stuff on this car, a lot of good stuff with this car, and everything I have for this car will go with this car when I sell it. So, thanks for looking, and happy bidding.